Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to the videos of the paid request for Guillermo. Thank you so much for that and for your kindness. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. It could be a topic, review, commentary, re-review, randomness, whatever the case may be. Tier list, ranking, whatever. Video game playthrough. But Guillermo wanted me this time to talk about Satanic Hispanics from 2023, which I had never heard of the film. And when you look at the title, it sounds like a comedy. The Satanic Hispanics. But, okay, it's an anthology film where you have a wraparound and four stories. Half of the stories are comedic, half of them are not. So it's kind of horror comedy, but kind of not. So it's interesting how of the like it's too funny. I'm not sure a lot. What? I'm trying to think of a lot of anthology that have done that where it's like super serious. That could be a super serious. There probably are some. I'm trying to think of the top of my head. It seems like usually they try to be a bit more consistent. Like even Creep Show, each story is a little bit of humor, horror kind of merged together. But anyway, the gimmick of this is it's an anthology where it's all Latino directors. And no Robert Rodriguez. At the end of the day, I did not mind it for what it was. Weirdly enough, it was the more comedic ones that I liked. And I thought the serious ones felt very, very flat. And I did not mind the wraparound. I think that's why at the end of the day I did not mind it. I thought the wraparound was decent. I liked two of the four stories. And I guess to the goal from there, I thought it had some pretty decent makeup effects at times. I thought that the more comedic stories had a bit more zest, energy, and fun to them. The wraparound, it stars Efren Ramirez. I'm sitting there going, why does this guy seem familiar? Oh, it's Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite. Vote for Pedro. It's him. And he's called the Traveler. He's arrested. He's put in jail. He's talked to by two detectives. One of them I recognize is Greg Grunberg, which the director of that wraparound, he's the same guy that did this film called Big Ass Spider, which I thought was an entertaining monster movie about a giant spider, and it's comedy horror. Greg Grunberg was the star of that. Again, I believe the same director of the wraparound did that one, so that was kind of nice. He was also one of the scientists in Hollow Man, working for Kevin Bacon. This guy. I'm trying to think. I think the director of the wraparound also did that Dolph Lundgren film Don't Kill It. And the one called a film called The Convent. Mike Mendez, I believe. If I get the names wrong, I apologize. I'm very bad with names. But anyway, the two detectives talk with Efra Ramirez, and he talks about how he always needs to keep moving. He always needs to keep traveling. And if he doesn't get out of here, everyone's going to die in 90 minutes because something's coming for him. And again, pretty much he tells a story. Either they find one of his belongings, he tells a story associated with it, or something else to that effect. Again, as a wraparound, I thought it was nice to see the guy, Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite. He was also in bit roles in Crank and Crank 2 High Voltage. Nice to see him have a bit of a bitter part. I didn't think he was that bad. Like I said, I like the Greg Grunberg guy. He has a sense of humor. I like some of the little rapport between the detectives and this traveler guy. I thought the ending, I'll get to, there's some entertainment there. Not balls to the wall, but some decent action for what it was. Nothing spectacular or anything, but decent. Now, like I said, the four stories is pretty much a serious one, a comedic one, then a serious one, then a comedic one. And the serious ones I thought fell flat, and the comedic ones were entertaining. The quick gist of the four stories: one is about a guy who he's in this place that may be haunted. He does this kind of ritual thing with his flashlight, asks people, "Did you see it? Did you see it?" He invites someone who's a podcaster who's investigating, and he's a bit, dubious on what this guy's saying. So the guy does the thing again, and the podcaster starts seeing certain things. And the second story is about an older vampire who's been around for hundreds of years, and he stayed too late for Halloween season, and now the sun's going down, and he only has a limited amount of time to try to get back home. Otherwise, the sun's going to get him. The third is about a witch, which I thought that was the worst one of the four, because I thought that was the most boring, pointless one. And then the last one has a little bit of an Evil Dead flavor to it. Definitely some juvenile humor, but at the same time, while not all the humor worked, it had, like I said, some entertaining energy to it. And I'll get more details into it. The end of spoilers starting out. That's the only way I could do it. Because you get the wraparound. Where the way it starts with the wraparound is this group of SWAT type of guys. They go in, they see all these dead bodies, they see a guy chained up, and the chain rises, and there's a gun attached, and they keep shooting it. Even though the guy's clearly dead, it keeps rising up, they keep shooting it. And okay, this is going a bit too long. They finally decide, maybe this guy is dead. They follow the chain, they realize it's attached to Efra Ramirez, who is trapped there, and he's trying to escape, and even tries to cut his hand off. He gets arrested. He's talked to the cops, two cops, and then tells a story, goes back to the cops, tells a story again, etc. Of the four stories, the first one, it's about a guy. I kind of thought it was interesting that he knew how to solve Rubik's Cubes very quickly, and someone close to him is trying to egg him on to go to this competition. I kind of wish they did more with that, like the whole Rubik's Cube thing, and that was going to be more of an essential part of the story, the Rubik's Cube thing. Sadly, it wasn't. Like maybe there's some puzzle bots like Hellraiser, but then you have a Rubik's Cube master that knows how to solve it, and people are like, what? Like, no way anyone could solve this, but it's a Rubik's Cube master, he knows how to solve it. No, nothing like that. He does this weird ritual thing with the lights, some mathematical thing that if he does this enough, I guess ultimately you find out it opens a doorway to the other side. And for the most part, most of the actors throughout these are Hispanic of nature. Stick with the whole motif of the anthology. And I didn't think the acting was bad. I thought there was a decent scare where a guy's trying to eat. He hears something. He looks down. All of a sudden, there's a zombie at his feet. And he's like, oh, shit. But then that story felt like it took a bit to get going. It felt a bit to get started. And of course, with an anthology, these stories can't be too long. So when you take that long to get started, it's kind of... then the payoff doesn't seem like much, or seems rushed, or seems just not as satisfying. And that's the case with this. Because he invites the podcaster over, does the ritual thing. The podcaster sees something, he says, that's my mom. What? That's my mom. And he's adamant about it. When the lead guy is scared by the zombie saying, help me, the podcaster goes to the zombie, hugs it. I guess the guy says it's his mom. And then you get this effect where they both kind of merge into the ground. You see this blood fly up. And the lead guy's kind of confused by all this. Like I am. And then the ending, I was just completely confused by. He took pictures of the zombie. He sends pictures to his loved one. I forgot if it was his sister or his wife. I forget which one. Because it was that memorable. And she's like, "What are you doing? Like, is this a joke? Why you take a picture of yourself? What?" So she sees him, and he goes, "It's our dad." So I guess it would be his sister, because yeah, he says it's our dad, and we see it as this female zombie, and then he's like confused, and he looks over, and then there's a zombie that looks like him, and then I don't know if it's supposed to be. I don't know what the hell was supposed to happen. There's a shot of the zombie one, I guess, doing the ritual flashlight, which with this guy we saw earlier before the podcast. He was showing to this other guy. Only this time, our lead character has a bit more of an angry look on his face. Then it ends. The reason, if I confuse the hell out of you, that's you got the same frame of mind as I was. I did not understand what the hell happened. I didn't understand what the whole point was. Was the guy dead the whole time? If that's the case, well, how could he talk to these people? If he switched to the other world, I don't know when that happened. He's talking with the podcaster. Even before it ends, he's talking to his sister. Unless he's talking to his sister from the other side. How did he record? It was a girl, but it was himself. It doesn't show that the guy dies or disappears or goes to hell. He's just outside the house, and then I don't know what the hell happened. I was Guillermo. If you saw this, I await your response. You tell me what the hell happened. You didn't get it. Yeah, I'm telling you. Repeatedly, I didn't get it. No, I did not get it. I didn't understand it. You say I'm too stupid? You're right on that. You right. But I don't think it was that properly told either. Because I understood most of the other stories. Well, I thought it was pretty boring, so maybe that's made it where I could pay attention as much as I should have. Blame it on me, blame it on the movie, or blame it on both. Whichever pickle you want to pick. But I didn't like that story. I thought it was really lame and confusing. The El Vampiro, that story, I did not mind. It's much older, kind of fatter, Latino vampire. It's Halloween. He's enjoying this bar with blood and victims. He gets a call from his female assistant, but also someone he's turned from hundreds of years ago. And she's like, "What are you doing out?" "Oh, I got enough time. It's daylight savings time." "Oh, come on." And then, oh. He'll talk with an accent, but then when he gets super serious, he'll leave the accent. And he's like, "I'm sorry, come again? What?" And let's say it's very comedic, very goofy. That segment's actually directed by Eduardo Sanchez, who did the Blair Witch Project, who helped on that Bigfoot One Exists. Not found footage this time, but some people may deem it too goofy, too silly. But again, I thought it was entertaining. He's like trying to be a bat, but he can't do it, turn into a bat. He's going, "I'm a little out of practice." He steals someone's scooter, knocks the guy out. And then while doing it, group of people throw eggs at him. He gets revenge on them, ripping their fucking heart out, their limbs out. Even gets a severed head for the occasion. And these cops find him, and of course it's Halloween season. So like, "Oh, what's the deal here? Oh, that looks so fake." And then when they realize that it's real, the vampire starts doing the "you will listen to what I say" hypnotism. Now, I will admit that scene does go on for a bit too long. So he hypnotizes one person, then they wake up, then he hypnotizes this one, then wakes up hypnotized, that guy wakes up hypnotized, that guy wakes up hypnotized. It goes on for a bit too long. I think that could have been cut in half. And he just go back and forth, quicker, quicker, quicker. And he's pretty much fuck it and leaves. I did like the cop saying, what was that? Motherfucker, what kind of voodoo shit is this? So like I said, I think that that could have been cut in half, that whole under my spell sequence. Pretty much he gets chased by cops. He gets helped by his assistant. They're driving off. Then they get into traffic. Then they're trying to beat the sun. Then they have to hide in a dumpster. And they have some nice, sweet words where he apologizes to her, and she's like, you know what, it's been a ride these past couple hundred years. It's actually kind of sweet. I thought the actors did their jobs well enough, and I kind of wish, like I say, if you cut that under my spill scene in half, I kind of wish that was longer. And maybe a few more events that could happen around Halloween. Like, for example, if he met other people dressed up as Dracula, or he met some other people dressed up as horror icons without getting sued. Or if they met up with some, I don't know who, whatever, criminals that either try to rob him or try to steal his car or whatever the case may be. I do wish it was a bit longer. I wish there was a bit more other activities happening. But yeah, I liked the guy playing the vampire and the girl playing his assistant. I thought they worked well together. I thought some of the humor was rather funny. And I thought there's actually some sweetness at the end. Where he's like, I knew you'd come for me, and you shouldn't have. And she's like, it's been a blast, Poppy. Which is weird that guy, like, they're vampires and people have been killed, but I got more of a heartfelt nature to that than anything in the first story, so there you go. Oh, and that's the thing with the first story, to repeat myself. I wish there was something to... The whole him being a Rubik's Cube, they do nothing with that, like I said before. I wish they would have done something with that but at the end. But anyway. But the second story I didn't mind. But for the most part, I like Eduardo Sanchez as a director. I liked a lot of the stuff he's done. Found footage or otherwise. Not everything, but a lot of his stuff. The third story I thought was completely pointless. I wish it wasn't in here. I would rather it be 3 stories. The first story be better, and then the second and third stories be long. I mean, the second and fourth stories be longer. Something about this guy who's cooperating with he's cooperating with the CIA and assisting a takedown of some political leader. So by doing so off screen, he had killed this family, which was also involved a woman and kids. So he's on the phone with the CIA, and they're talking about how you gotta do this and this and this. The guy on the phone, he hears some rumblings. He gets out. These 3 guys beat the hell out of him, knock him the hell out, drag him to this witch, where they torture him for a bit. And the witch tells about, you killed our blood, and you spilled blood of our blood, family, people that were killed by this guy. And the witch rambles on and on and on. She just rambles on while this guy's just being stretched and stretched. See, if you're Jean-Claude Van Damme, that'd be nothing, because he's been stretched. Bloodsport, kickboxer, he knows how to be stretched, and he'll get out of that shit, but this guy was no Van Damme. So after it feels like 5 minutes of constant rambling by this witch about Mother Nature, Mother Earth, whatever the hell, Captain Planet and the Planeteers, You'll never defeat Mother Earth. Sounds like Captain Planet. He gets his throat slit. And then the witch and the other three find the bodies of their killed brethren, and they mourn the loss. And then there's footage of a waterfall and whatever the hell else of Mother Earth. And I'm sitting there going, this sucked ass. This was boring. This was pointless. This wasn't scary. It wasn't entertaining. You barely say there are characters. I don't know what the hell the point of this was. I really do not. Now, the fourth story, this is a story I kind of wish was a bit longer. You have this guy who's having dinner with this lady, and this guy tells about how him and his colleagues went to this place, and they got cursed by these demons, and each of his other friends have been killed by a variety of ways. And now the only one left is me. And more than likely the demons are going to kill me is someone called Teen Zombie. And pretty much our lead guy, I like that for the most part. He's smart. And he tries to be ahead of the game of the demon. So he outwits, and I know we're not in an actual diner. We're not an actual diner, and you thought I'm supposed to be here and all this other stuff. So the diner is wiped away and shows that the diner doesn't have people in it. It's just completely rotted away, closed down. They're alone. And not only that, the guy brought all these guns, whether it be shotguns. There's a bit he slides. He gets two guns, bah, 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 like he's trying to be a John Woo film. And then the demon, who at times floats like a deadite, so you could tell Evil Dead was an influence on this, which is not a bad thing. I liked it more than the new Evil Dead film. So he pulls out the ultimate weapon, and then we get a flashback how he got this weapon, where he went and met this guy. And I think the guy they met is the guy that was in The Hills of Ice Part 2, the 2007 film, who is also the little kid from Ernest Goes to Camp. I think it was him. I could be wrong, who owns this shop. Don't quote me on that. But the lead guy and his buddy was alive at the time. They're looking for something to help with their problem. And this guy's like, I got a thing for you. Ah, those fucking Cubans, right? I got a thing for you. Listen, we don't have time for a backstory, so the guy tells a backstory anyway. Now, this was my least favorite part because it went on way too long. It's the guy who owns the shop talking about this whole story of how he conjured up this demon, and it happened night after night. And pretty much the more he describes it, the more he goes in depth in it. You get the idea that the demon fucked him, and he grew to like it, and then grew to think of the demon as his boyfriend. But at the same time, he's not outright saying it. He's saying it as like a lover that's been thrown away, and the shop owner's been mad about it. It's like I get the joke, it just goes on for way too long. Until ultimately he showcases the weapon. Just, oh, I found out this demon was doing it to other people, and I wasn't so special, and one day I went and I cut this off, and it's a giant demon dick. That's what I was talking about, the juvenile humor. And our lead guy and his buddy's like, I'm not going to touch that, but then his buddy gets possessed. And then the shop owner cuts its head off and says, I told you this thing works. And so this guy uses a giant demon dick to beat the hell out of and kill this wannabe deadite. And then I guess the idea is the demon, before it dies, plays one last trick and makes it seem like a bunch of people. I don't know if the demon's tricking him again and there's all these dead people that the demon killed. So the cops come and he's like, hey, this is a weapon, it's just and he gets tackled. But then you do have a funny throwaway line where the cop then asks Efren Ramirez, so they caught him. Yeah, but people pretty much assumed he survived a gang shooting and he was let go. Like, come on, a white guy there. Yeah, of course, fucking white guy. So I thought that was actually funny because, I don't know, just the way it was said. I know it could be construed as, oh my god, yeah, white people are bad. But again, the way it was said, I thought was kind of a funny way of, oh yeah, the white guy didn't do it. It was, you know, it was actually kind of a nice way because he didn't do it. He didn't kill him. He was let go. And, they just assumed it was a gang shooting, so that guy, our lead guy, that character got safe and sound and killed the demon, that's that. So the fact he was let go to us, oh yeah, a gringo in the middle of this place? Nah, people just thought it was a gang shooting, so they let him go. And again, the way that was said and done, I actually thought was kind of funny, I'll put it that way. So, but I said, that story, it's nothing spectacular, it wasn't spectacular or anything. I said I didn't mind the lead guy. I didn't mind some bits of the sense of humor in terms of the guy pulling all these guns out. So his reactions of it not working, being thrown about. Not nearly as good as Ash from Evil Dead, but going a teeny bit in that direction. The flashback, I could do without the elongated backstory. It's kind of, okay, I get the joke. And the shop owner's acting like a lover whose boyfriend cheated on him, how emotional he gets. And so, shorten it. I didn't kind of like the under my spell bit in the second story. Just shorten it a bit. Some of these gags go on a bit too long. Shorten it and then you create some new gags. But, overall, like I said, that and the more comedic ones I thought were decent. And then the wraparound, this creature comes to the police station and they start shooting at it. And what this creature can do is kind of look at someone and control them or make them shoot each other. And when he has a bit of a V for Vendetta look to it. Then when they shoot him enough, it's more like I don't know how you describe it. Kind of like I don't know, so there's Day of the Dead, Mexican celebrations, kind of have these, not statue type of mask, but kind of really is what, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I thought it looked pretty cool, and it kind of controlling people, you did a bit of slow motion, people shooting at it, forced to shoot themselves. The two cops realize our Efren Ramirez is telling the truth. Thankfully, in this evidence locker, there's a weapon that was mentioned earlier that could help. Gives it to him. He's like, wait here, goes out, shoots the thing, takes care of it for now. It's funny that the two cops, including Gray Grunberg, they're never in the same scene as the action sequence. So more than likely, those two people, they were shot one day. And boom, one day you're gone, we'll just shoot all your scenes. Does it say they never, you see them go out, but you never see them in the midst of the action. And they'll cut back and they run back in. And then you never see those cops again. You assume they're alive because you never see them get killed. And they're not part of the action. But I thought it was a bit wanty in terms of the, I don't know if you call it the editing, how you want to chalk that up to, the writing. Maybe the planning of the schedule. It would have been nice to have the two, if you don't have to kill them, but just have them be part of the action. Just don't look in the eyes. And so maybe just they'll look at the ground or look at the feet or something. Something like that. or at least the two cops come in and they see the guy off, and they stand there and look amongst all the dead bodies or people that were knocked down, try to figure out what to do next. And then F. Ramirez gets a car, drives off. Miles and miles later, gets stopped, and he says the same thing. If you don't let me go in 90 minutes, everyone's going to die. Because he's always going to be traveling, hence the traveler. So, I know, as I say it out loud, it doesn't sound like much of an anthology. I can understand that. It's not an anthology you need to see right away. Again, I thought as I gave it away, but I said spoilers. Again, I thought the wraparound was decent enough. I thought that, again, the first story, the Rubik's Cube thing, I wish more was done with that segment. The ending was very confusing. The build-up was a bit too long for such a short amount of time you have for an anthology story. So I thought that was a bit of a lousy story. The second with the vampire, I kind of wish that one was a bit longer. I like the lead vampire. I like some of the funny antics he got thrust upon him. The Under My Spell between the two cops went on a bit too long, but overall I did get some enjoyment out of it. I got some chuckles and laughs out of it. I thought that was entertaining. The third story should have been completely wiped out, thrown out of it. A guy gets tortured by being stretched while this witch rambles on and on about Mother Earth and heart and fire and all this Captain Planet shit. Where are the Planeteers? And then the guy gets his throat slit, and then the witch is like, oh, Mother Nature, blah, 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 blah. Good. Sing Kumbaya. You'd be like those yahoos that threw soup on the Mona Lisa. Don't know when to look up the news. Some idiots. I think at least there was glass around. I would hope there'd be glass around the Mona Lisa painting, but some dumbass environmentalist, oh, what the fuck, some about food and whatever. How about you starve? Don't throw shit on Mona Lisa. That doesn't solve anything. Just idiots. Anyway, there's a lot of idiots in the world. And the fourth story, again, there's some entertaining Evil Dead type of stuff. I wish it could have been a bit gorier. I wish the shopkeeper story was not so overlong, and again, the joke kind of ran its course quickly. The ending gave me some chuckles. The action did nothing spectacular. Same with the end of the wraparound. Nothing spectacular. Nothing you don't remember a whole lot, but decent for a one-time watch. And that's the thing. It didn't make me mad. It didn't make me angry. It just... I'm fine that I watched it once, and I'll probably never watch it again. But I can't say it's completely useless. I can't. Because there are parts that I did like. There are stories I did like. And the wraparound, again, I don't think was that bad. So, that's just me, though. But thanks once again, Guillermo. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.